Okay, this should be working. I hope everybody's here. And everybody, thank you very much for hanging about. We had a little technical difficulty before it. OBS was being words we will not say. So tonight we have BrainBug. Everybody should know who BrainBug is. If you don't, I have been informed that the link to his channel does not work, but the link to the video with Aron Ra does work. So click the link in the description. That's where we're going afterwards. And we just want to have a short interview, a wee pre-party for BrainBug. Big night tonight having Aron Ra on, especially focusing on the phylogeny project. I know as a big fan of Aron Ra, he spent lots of time working on it. So BrainBug, if you just want to let know the people who do not know who you are.
Hi, I'm Brian from the BrainBug channel, and I like to talk about bugs. I use that word colloquially. I talk about arthropods, mostly terrestrial, such as spiders, insects, and arachnids in general. And I love to educate and explore the science behind some of the different species and some of the different legends that have grown up around them, and use those legends to teach things about that. And I'm so happy to have Aron on tonight because he does such a diverse platform of work that this piece of his goals, it really doesn't get as much spotlight as it should. The Phylogeny Explorer project is a huge and fantastic endeavor that you can participate in too. But say a little bit about what the Phylogeny Explorer project is. It is a database. Essentially, it's a extensive dendrogram, which is you see the tree of life with the different branches coming off. You got your dendrogram. It's a type of cladogram, and it is, as far as I know, the most extensive one in existence right now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really taken one. I think there is one out at the minute, but it's close to something like a decade out of date, and it doesn't actually go into as much detail. And the fact that what he's actually doing is making it user friendly. You know, and I know that you hear an awful lot of creationists going, it's just fucking lines on pages. But lines on pages do make it very, very easy to navigate on a computer basis. You know, you can move back, you can follow it. Visuals are very, very good for people. And the fact that he's making it as interactive as it is and user friendly, very jealous, man. The night I had him here, didn't spend enough time on it. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's so much to talk about when it comes to Aron. He has he does his blog, he does his the ramen podcast, he does all kinds of other projects that he's got going on that it's hard to squeeze those all into one segment. That's why I wanted to pull one piece of what he's doing out and talk about it, and that's the one that's so near and dear to my heart because I love phylogeny. I love nested cladistics. I'm a bit of a science nerd, if you can't tell.
A little bit. That's okay. You're right at home here. Why I love you so.
Yeah, got my science nerd down here.
Yep.
Yeah, especially at the minute in the community, you know, we're atheists, we're seculars, but we all have a love for science. There's not enough science content out in the community being posted enough. We have wonderful people like yourself, Brian, and Mama Atheist posting their, if you haven't seen it, biodiversity, other day, climate science. We definitely need more science and more information out there because we do say these things, but we would like to have the statistics. We would like to have the information to back ourselves up.
Oh, yeah. Your biodiversity video was fantastic. I loved all the information there.
Thank you.
Really, it's something to build on too. With you get different guests who want to talk about biodiversity and options with that is fantastic. And of course the graphics were amazing as well.
She's very good at that editing, isn't she? She's learning as she comes along. She is learning as she comes along. Like, so Brian, not to give any spoilers or anything like that, but have you anything that you want to focus on tonight? Have you anything specific that maybe tease us with a question or two that we can wet our lips with?
Well, there's, as I was, saying, there's a lot to approach Aron about, and there's a lot of information that he could hit us with, but. Mostly, I want to talk about some of the different aspects of science that go into mapping the phylogeny of a species and of a clade, such as ERVs, virology, parasitology. Parasitology is actually something I got into a little bit when I was talking to Divine Disbelief. That's a previous
just
stream
as
I
a
did.
premise, I know I just gave you and Mama wonderful shout outs about your big brain. I don't have them, and some of the people in the live chat. So if you do use a big fancy word, can you please follow it up with means?
Yeah. Okay, so ERVs are that is basically DNA that a virus is inserted into our genes, and we can look at different groups and match where those insertion points are, and tell us, at what point we diverged from that lineage. Virology is the study of viruses, which is linked directly to the ERVs. Parasitology, now that is the study of parasites, and it's a pretty neat field. It's one that I really enjoy looking into. It's the study of fleas, lice, different organisms that are parasites, and how we can trace our lineage in divergence, where we split from the sister clades based on the phylogeny of the parasites themselves.
One thing I found quite interesting one time watching a documentary on the evolution of humans, and they can tell, they brought up about when we started wearing clothes, and they can tell when we started wearing clothes, because obviously when we wear clothes, we don't then need more body hair because we have the clothes keeping us warm. Strangely enough, and maybe slightly what people in the populace now don't want, but genital parasites, like the genital lice that we get, because our pubic hair is very similar to fur, that's whenever their lineage changed, that's how they can tell when we started wearing clothes.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about that particular piece of parasitology. It actually, our human pubic lice, I don't want to say our pubic lice, but human
Yes.
pubic lice are actually closer on the phylogenetic tree to those found in gorillas than they are to chimpanzees. So take that and do what you want with it. But
another thing that I found was quite funny, just speaking on that in genealogy, and we're talking about viruses and stuff, a lot of people in the world end up with cold sores. Not especially over here, but people get cold sores. It's not a big thing. People worry about it. Me personally, I was very sick one time and my immune system crashed, and I did end up with shingles. So it can go to that point where it is quite bad. But the difference between herpes that you would get on your lips and genital herpes, the differences between, I think genital herpes is closer to the herpes of the lips from a chimpanzee, because when they moved into the human species, the lip where they were originally specified for was already taken. So then as the survival of the species goes, they then moved, and that's how we ended up with genital herpes.
oh, wow. Yeah, you say you don't got a big brain, but I just learned something from you just now.
He is so much smarter than he gives himself credit for.
I just like to sit and watch things and all this use. I'm probably only about 70% right in what I'm saying, but it does drive you in a direction to go and educate yourself. So that's what's more important to me.
Oh yeah, it's always being willing to learn, and that's what I was saying when we were in stool string the other day. Me and Mama were talking about science, and as far as that being an atheist, I like to say the secular community, because
yes, exactly.
I like to be welcoming to everybody. But we have the science. Let's look at the science. Let's use that to make our case for this is the future of our species, instead of religions and stuff. I mean, you don't have to attack the religion. You just have to present the science that backs itself up.
And it's not even the science itself, man, individually. You can't throw physics at people. You can't throw chemistry at people. What you really want, what we try to drive, is for people to learn the scientific method, to teach logic, to teach critical thinking. When you throw science at people and they're like, oh, well, I don't believe in that because I'm a flat earther and gravity doesn't exist. Turn your smartphone on its side. Did the screen change? Yes, it did. That's because there's a sensor in your phone to detect gravity. Go fuck yourself. It's
I think it's important. Like MathPig was saying, we have a vast community here, but to have these little niches like you with your insects, and Mel with her, chemistry, and Marrow too, and to be able to go and bounce ideas off of each other. Like BrainBug and I are working on a video together that both incorporates his science and mine in terms of sustainable proteins, and that's really interesting. And be able to work together and have each other is I think really great.
You're not going to hog all of the BrainBug. Me and him have been talking about doing a video on bees. I just haven't done any research yet, so shush.
Yeah, get some video of your hives. They look fantastic. I really want to see what you got going on inside there.
Yeah, I'm going to do a few videos, man. At the minute now, we'll be starting to move them quite soon. My father's already moved 2 or 3 because they've becoming quite violent, because we've been having really good weather over here. So the bees have been getting into the mood, and then when they wake up in the morning and they fly out, it's fucking bucketing with rain. So the next day when it's really sunshine, they come out and they're not in the best of moods. There's been getting a lot of stings at the house, so we've been moving the hives lately. He's starting to move away from the making of the honey into actually breeding the bees, because the hobby itself has been starting to take off over here. I think it was 2016, it was the fastest growing hobby in the UK. And to be desperately honest, man, if you're using it as a side project to bring in extra income, it's better to sell beehives than it is to actually sell honey. You make more money. So we're doing an awful lot of breeding at the minute, so we can do videos on the queen cells. And as a man who's mainly into the hives, my father does shout at me whenever I take the camera out, and he's like, "What are you doing? I need you to hold this." Shut up. This is interesting. People want to see this.
Yes, I want to see it. Definitely. The systems of I guess you could call it the caste systems of a beehive are fascinating. Really want to delve into that with you. I'm looking so forward to that. While we're on the subject, or getting back to the subject of phylogeny, I just wanted to say about phylogeny that and again, it ties into what Amanda was saying about everybody having their specific little niche. That's really what something like the Phylogeny Explorer project needs. The amount of biodiversity on our planet is, it's ridiculous. We could work on this project for decades and decades and just start scratch. Right now we're with, like I said, it being the largest database right now, or as MathPig said, there was one that was previously put together. But I digress. That with the size of this right now, we're still just scratching the surface. There is so much to cover, so much to fill in, so many blanks. And me, people would say, I have a lot of knowledge about animals and species and stuff. Very small window of what I know is actually what's out there. So anybody who wants to contribute to that, anybody who wants to grab a branch and fill in some blanks, they're looking for people to help out with it. It's a huge undertaking. So I just wanted to throw that out there while we're talking about niches, because my niche even is just so tiny on what I can contribute. So
in saying that, man, how long have you spent actually studying insects? And I'm not just talking, you maybe have 5-6 years under your belt of formal education on this, that, and the other, or 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. But somebody who spends that time on it, like Manda with her astrophysics and her climate degree, and what I hope to do as well. These things are a passion. I can guarantee you that when you were 12, you had 10 jars of fucking insects on your shelf. Yeah,
I did. It's been basically I got insects, and it starts in the backyard, right? When you're a kid and you're collecting stuff and you're
well, and saying that, at my granny's we used to spray flash with bleach on top of slugs and watch them melt, but we were bad bastards when we were kids.
We did that too. That's actually that last scripted video that I did was on bug fighting, because that's what we did in our backyard. We would put the praying mantis and the grasshopper in the jar together and let them duke it out. It's or a spider or something. We would do that. It was part of I think it's part of a rite of passage being a kid.
Yeah, as Manda knows now, something that very much annoys her. I'm a country bumpkin, so to speak, and back doors lying wide open until the darkness that comes at night. And sometimes you wake up and you find out you have a field mouse in the house, or you've got insects in the house. And in this last 2 or 3 days, there's been an awful lot of spiders for whatever reason running across the floor, and my dog's been chasing them. And Amanda's like, how many fucking spiders have you got in the house? And, you know, as a kid, when we were younger, I remember a friend of ours when in his house we had found this fucking giant spider, and we put it in a cardboard like a cardboard box, and we put cling film in the front so you could see what was going on. We put a 2-litre bottle on the bottom of it so you could unscrew the lid and put insects in like dandelions and feed the thing. And you know, it was a giant spider. It made a wee web, but it only lasted a couple of weeks. But as you say, it's a rite of passage. It's interesting. It's something that's what kid maybe boys, but it's what something.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe more for boys.
But this is the reason, as I said to you, Amanda, that I refer to now every spider in my house as George, because we named that spider George. It's like, don't kill George, leave George alone.
I named the spiders in my house, too. I thought I was the only one. You made me feel so much more normal, which every little bit counts.
Yeah, no, I do like spiders, man. And as much as it does annoy people, being in the country and having such a big garden as I have, I do like flowers. I do like this sort of thing. And when you encourage the nature, which all environmentalists want, keep the trees, keep the hedges, they bring in insects. And then they bring spiders because spiders eat insects. So, you know, as much as it comes with one, you have to put up with the other.
Oh, yeah. I love it all, too. I do gardening and stuff as well, so I'm all about that. It really is something you have to just embrace. If you're going to have plants in the house, if you're going to have like plants outside, you're going to have to deal with the wildlife, and most of it's beneficial. So take a second to think about it before you smash them. Yes, I'm talking to you, Amanda.
I know.
My father, don't get me wrong, is a very outsidey sort of guy and things like that, and not to annoy Amanda, but when it's necessary in clearing an area, the man will bring out chemicals. But he made a specific point when he did up the garden at my mother's house that there is an entire area all the way around the garden, at least a yard deep, and that's where he dumps the grass. He doesn't put it in the bin to be sent to fiddle or anything like that. He dumps the grass around it. He lets it grow. It's a complete wild area. It brought in hedgehogs. It brought in insects. It brought in all these different types of wildlife that was dying out. And from a personal point of view, he got very attached to a hedgehog. He used to leave out cat food for it. A damn thing went and got sick one night and didn't move. He put it in a shoebox, took it to the vet and spent £75. The fucker still died on him. And this is a big man that likes to do all these manly man things when you'd never seen cry in your life. And he's standing there with a hedgehog in a shoebox. You know, it's an attachment that even anybody can have. Wildlife and being outside, it should be something that should be explored.
Oh, definitely. And you know, you learn, like I was talking about, you know, getting the insects and catching them in jars and stuff. You learn a lot about animals that way. You can learn a lot about the creatures, but you know, and from there I moved on to I again shouldn't say moved on to. I've been reading wildlife books and animal fact files is what I had. I used to have a set of these big fact file books that just had so many different species in it, and I would just spend my all my winter months just thumbing through that. And of course, you know, as I got older and the internet came around, I joined these forums, and actually something very similar to the Phylogeny Explorer project is what we would try to put together. Classifying and having profiles for all the animals, and I contributed a great deal to that as well. I should put a link to that on my page somewhere so people can go out there and check that out. It was, you know, it's definitely not as in depth as the Phylogeny Explorer project, but it's a nifty little undertaking that we put together. I spent years working on that before I kind of lost interest and lost touch with some of the people that were working on it with me. Maybe someday we'll revisit that, but it's a growing interest and it's a growing passion.
The daughter seems to have picked an interest in it. Now, she's an outsidey sort of person, and when we go to the river I can't. I obviously don't know because it's not mine, man. It's not my field. But the insects, they're quite long legs. They've got wings, and they glide across the water. You know, they walk on the top of the water, whatever it is. And we're at the river. She does like going down. She has her own wee fishing net, and she got very upset today because we were out walking. She put a big rock inside her plastic bucket that she usually tries to catch the fish in, and being so flimsy plastic, it broke. She was very upset because we now can't go to the river and try and catch fish. I say try because we've been there, and as much as you want to try and catch fish with a net, having a toddler and a dog, it makes it very fucking difficult.
We're just trying to help.
Yeah, but when it comes to the bees now, she's not very fond of spiders. We're trying to work over that fear. It's something that she's picked up from her mother. She will run from spiders, but a giant honeybee she'll walk over and poke and let sit on her hand. She's no fear with this, a bee. Even though a bee could do more damage, but she's more comfortable around them. And I've sent you pictures, man. You've seen them on Twitter of her around the hives. I've got videos with literally thousands of bees swarming around her, and she's sitting there holding what she calls her woo-woo, which is a fucking teddy bear dog thing. And she's just interested. It's a very enthusiastic, and maybe not go down the same route, but definitely showing an interest in it and having the ability of the beehives with the child that young. It'll get them over the fear. It'll get the interest in them. Like, as the Christians say, grab them when they're young.
As a beekeeper, with the spider, you got spiders, praying mantises, and wasps, all going to be.
Wasps can go and fuck themselves. By the way, I have a hatred for wasps. There was a wasp nest last summer somewhere on my mother's land, and we have 30 beehives at that time, and the fucking wasps kept trying to get in there. Don't like wasps.
Yeah, all those are going to have can wreak havoc on your beehive. Nothing. What was the Asian giant hornets? We just got those over here. I think y'all have some large hornets over in the UK too, but they'll go in there and they just massacre bees. Just
you can actually watch them. What I find is quite funny, and Mandel absolutely love this. In and around August, September time, when it starts to get cold around here, and then towards the end of October, as a hive works, men are useless. Men are only good for eating honey and having sex in a beehive. That's pretty much all we're good for. The women do all the work. So what usually ends up happening around September, October, and I've pictures of it, there is massacres. The men get kicked out of the hive and not allowed back in again. And you usually look behind the hive and there's just a dead zone of just bees because they're trying to get back in again. They're looking for an exit. They're at the back of the hive and they just die. And they get kicked out of the hive in and around March, April time. They decide, weather's good. Let's make some men. I'm hungry. We need some sex. We're only good for one thing.
Yeah, with bees, it's almost like there's three sexes. There's some certain, I would have to look it up, but some protein that the female gets in the larva stage that makes her a queen. But the queen and the drones are essentially different. Biologically from one another. So there's bees. You want to talk about people saying two sexes? That's not the rule. There's so many exceptions in nature. It's rare. This is something more specific to tetrapods, which is what we are, thing with four limbs. But it's more specific to tetrapods to be two gendered than, or I say gendered, two sexes than everything else is pretty diverse about the process.
I think it was actually an episode of it may have been Next Generation. I think it actually may have been Star Trek Voyager, where they did come across a species that had a male and a female, but did need another sex to actually instigate, pregnancy and all the rest of it. And it was quite trans, right? It was quite good. It was about the development of that species and trying to find themselves. So, yeah, that was quite good. On that topic, we are getting quite close to the end of the time. I know that Brian has to go and get things sorted, send Aron the link and get all that sorted. So, the link is in the description for Brian's channel. I think that works. So at least click that, go there, hit the subscribe button. We will be going, well, we will be. Brian will be going live in 30 minutes for Aron Ra. It really will be a fantastic show. What we've talked about here has been mostly rambling, but the phylogeny project as a wider scape thing in the bigger scape, you can't give it enough words. It really is such a fantastic thing. Being able to trace our species from where we are now right back to a certain point, and every divergence since then, it's such an undertaking.
Huge. Yeah, it's so extensive. All hands on deck, guys. We can make it happen. So if you're interested, you got an interest in helping out, there's the option there. I got the link under the Aron Ra video. There will be links to all the information on the Phylogeny Explorer project and how to help out. So go check it out. Yeah, matter of fact, in between this and the stream with Aron, go ahead and pop over to the Phylogeny Explorer project website and have a look around, see what they're working on.
Yeah, click the link, go to Brian's channel, and in that video for Aron, all the links for the Phylogeny project are there. If you're too lazy to look, just go to that. I don't have them in mind, but they are in the video link for Aron Ra. Go there, check them out. You have 30 minutes. And Brian, other than that, really appreciate you, man. Definitely a lot of things we agree on, outside of all of this. And yeah, a lot of love for you, Brian.
All right, yeah. I'll see y'all in the next video.
So,
yep. In half an hour, guys. Make sure you go sub to Brian. He's amazing. Absolutely.
Mama, have you anything coming up this week? We'll do a slight chill for everyone. Have you anything coming up this week, Mama?
I have Bionic Dance on Sunday. That's it.
You have Bionic Dance on Sunday. As of tonight, I have Marie de Elephant from the Anonymous podcast. She is coming on, and we're working on people for Tuesday as well. So everybody, hit everybody's links, hit all the buttons, subscribe, like, do all the YouTube stuff. And we'll see you in 30 minutes over at Brian's. And everybody, on that note, we will oink and out. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.